Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens.
Welcome back to the Festivus Series, ladies and gentlemen, at the Blood and Black Rum podcast. This year, we're celebrating the season with new and old. We might be bringing you some romance, a couple of Santa Claus killers, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned all Christmas season as we dive deep into the holiday hits.
These are a few of my favorite things.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum podcast. I'm Ryan from culmination.com, and I'm joined by my co-host Martin.
And for the first time ever in the history of the show, we are recording on the high holiday proper. It's a Festivus for the rest of us.
We don't normally record on holidays, but making an exception for Festivus today. It's amazing. Yes, and I did watch the Seinfeld episode as well for the occasion, which I normally try to do. And I will also note, I watched the 4K version of it because they recently.
So you found the tinsel to be very distracting.
Yes. Yeah, but I will say that because I don't have the 4K release because that was like fucking $500 for the whole series or something crazy like when it came out. But I did watch it in 4K, and it does look great in 4K. Still within the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's great. It's awesome. Looks great. Very filmic.
I would say one problem I've always had with Seinfeld. Everyone's treating Julie Louis-Dreyfus like she's some cretinous-looking person. I don't know.
She was in a schwitz for 6 hours. So
I know. I'm not here for that.
Love it. But we're not here for Festivus, are we? We're still celebrating some holiday enjoyment, some
Christmas time.
That's right. So like we had mentioned before, for this Festivus series, we didn't really plan it out. We didn't really say, okay, here's what we're going to do for the next 4 episodes. We kind of played it by ear and let the spirit of the holidays take us where it would. And so
we're finally doing Elf.
We're actually not. We're not. No, we're not doing A Christmas Story either, which is another one of those classics that we just have not done. No, instead we were kind of coming up with a list of things that stood out to us for films that either might be interesting or ones that we just haven't done before that might fit in well with the scope of the podcast previously. And I kind of just offered up one that was sort of like an oddball because I've never seen it before, but I knew it is a Christmas movie, and it might be something interesting to do. And you were very taken with it right away.
Well, if you listen to the podcast, you'll know. Usually every Festivus, I mention this movie at least once.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, I'd never seen it before, so.
Like the terrible, shitty Uncle... I was going to say Uncle Buck. Jesus. Sorry, John Candy. I don't mean that. Ed O'Neill's Bastard Child movie. Dutch. As your Thanksgiving tradition. This movie that is not on your radar is a Martin household Christmas tradition.
Is it really? That's really interesting. And there's a few reasons why I think it's really interesting. We'll talk about it.
And by that, I mean just me, not my family. We didn't do family film watching in the Martin household. That's...
So it's just your own traditional Christmas movie to watch.
Well, because it was on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum.
And the funny thing, too, is that the dysfunctional family element, I mean, probably fit right in with, your holiday watching. You probably looked over and saw the same thing happening in reality in front of you, so.
I wish we would have a Nordic Christmas platter for the high holidays. Lutefisk. Which actually, that's funny, because that's one of the best episodes of King of the Hill. Where Reverend Stroop becomes the new minister of the Methodist Church, and she's from Minnesota, and they're having their little cookout, and she brings lutefisk, and Bobby eats all of it, and before anyone can have any, and then he has to run into the bathroom and take a shit, it's so nasty and bad. Cotton's in there too. He's like, "Hey, you! What the hell's it going on in there?" Beep, beep, beep. And then Bobby lights a match trying to, kill the smell, and he accidentally burns down the whole church. And Cotton ends up taking the blame for it. Yeah. And then until the end, where Bobby admits that he did it, but Cotton was willing to take the blame because he's an old man. He's got no shins, and he'll probably make it smell, But Bobby the whole episode was about guilt and all that, because it was great too. Because Reverend Stu was like, "The lutefisk! What did happen to my precious lutefisk?"
Never had lutefisk before.
I can't say I have.
I don't think I would be a very big fan. I don't like fish in the first place, so this very specific style of what is it like? Is it like pickled or something like that? I don't even know.
I don't even think it's pickled. I think it's like gelatin, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's yeah. Oh, it's been soaked in lye. That's what it is. Yeah, so it gets like a gelatinous. Gelatinous fish. That just sounds absolutely horrible. But
crack open a nice can of sardines,
Yeah.
I love that they're still packed in 1840s aluminum. So, I'm not saying I eat them, but it's just funny. It's like, that's how they still come. If they're good enough for the British Navy, they're good enough for you.
So the movie that we're doing today is The Ref from 1994. 1994.
What a time to be alive.
31 years old now. Really puts it in perspective, doesn't it? I remember this movie. So I definitely do remember my dad having this movie at the movie store. I remember the box art for sure.
Look at it. How can the poster makes us look like what a romp it's gonna be. Denis Leary, Judy Davis, Kevin Spacey, and Breath.
This box art has a very traditional 90s affair.
Yeah,
white background, like the complete white background.
The very
man in the forefront, and then
the side characters behind them with a very overly dramatic typeface.
Yes. I do feel bad too, because this movie, if you look quickly at the poster, doesn't really look like an R-rated movie. It looks like a whimsical PG romp.
That's why I said crap. It looks like I could take the kids to this. That's it. This looks like is what the hell? I'm drawing a blank on his name. From Beethoven, James. What the hell?
I don't know.
But it looks like it could be like the Beethoven poster.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's a very similar style and everything to those 90s wacky. This is a wacky kids movie of
Charles Gordon. My bad.
Oh yeah, Denis Leary with a gun.
That's what he basically looks like.
Yeah. And I will say too, I never really pictured this movie as a Christmas movie because, for one, the title does not say Christmas movie. And then again, the poster has zero absolute atmosphere of Christmas in it. So
I got bad news for you too. You want to know when they went to theaters?
When?
March of 94.
Yeah.
So
the perfect time to throw your
release a Christmas movie. Good.
Really odd.
Good job, Disney.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it, but it's very much a weird release entirely. The whole idea of it is calling it The Ref, weird, setting it at Christmas time for some reason, not necessarily, really doesn't necessarily need to be Christmas. But then not only that, but you said it at Christmas, and then you didn't market to it,
well, like I told you, right before I was going in, because even though I have seen this movie a million times, it's probably my first time seeing it in almost 15 years, probably. I mean, like I said, it's like what Disney was like. Jerry Bruckheimer was like, what if we took Home Alone but made it for adults? And we'll put this guy all the kids like with his comedy going like, hey, he says the words and stuff like he's fucking cocksucker. Hey, this is gonna be great.
Yeah. A crass humorist.
Yeah.
That it's a weird idea, and I don't know. And that's the other thing too that I think is funny. As I'm on the IMDb page, and the trailer's kind of playing in the background, and it's obviously, again, the trailer says the ultimate Christmas movie coming this spring. Why is it coming this spring then, if it's the ultimate Christmas movie?
Touchstone was too busy wrapping up Free Willy and Dennis the Menace. I don't know if Dennis.
Yeah, I think the idea behind this movie is intriguing because, like I said, this kind of has the same debate as like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Like, it's set around Christmas. Does it need to be? Probably not. The movie does not really take advantage of most things. I mean, there's a family coming for Christmas Eve dinner.
This movie is... hold on, how dare you? This movie is so much more Christmas than Die Hard ever wishes it was.
Well,
it's not even... it's not tangent. It's not Die Hard where they're being tangential. Here, it's literally...
Well, I think
they're home for the holidays. Like,
what
do you want it to be? A Memorial Day barbecue? He shows up and ruins? Like, Denis Leary's an asshole. Not only is he kidnapping Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis, but he's also pissing on a Confederate's grave.
I just think that it's
the wrath.
The whole idea of it being on Christmas is superficial for the movie. So it's not. It's like Die Hard, right? Because people often say they use that as an excuse of why Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Is that the decorations in the background and everything don't really matter to the overall crux of the plot of Die Hard, because you could not have all of that, and it would still
I want you to say,
movie.
I want you to call up Christine Baranski, look her dead in the eyes, and say, "Hey, one of your finest roles in The Ref, where you said Christmas is about Jesus and people getting punished or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. You look her dead in the eyes and say, you know what? Shouldn't even bother.
I don't think that's much of a Christmas movie. Your How the Grinch Stole Christmas role was much more Christmassy.
How dare you?
Martha May. All right. So let's take a break real quick and talk about the beer that we have on the show, because we also have a nice festive beer for this show. This one reminds me of a very, it's almost like you could have it for Christmas, you could have it for New Year's, you could have, it's like a special occasion type of holiday beer. Doesn't necessarily need to be Christmassy. As we're recording this right before Christmas, obviously we're having it in the Christmas tradition, but you could have it for New Year's too and celebrate it that way.
Every time you pop one open, you hear the first Noel.
That's right. No, you hear Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, because we're having a Spanish Christmas, a Mexican Christmas, with this beer.
I was singing that the other day to our buddy Matt, and I was like, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, ba 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 ba, and then he was like, oh my God, it's ba da 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 da.
I got upset with your rhythm.
Well, no. He actually said the words. I was just doing...
I see.
I was just doing... Yes.
Cumpleaños en feliz. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Should know Spanish.
That was... I took 5 years of it.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I just don't remember the lyrics, because you know what? When it gets to the chorus, it gets to the, American part. I want to win,
Well, I'll let you introduce the beer, because you were the one that got it. You've been on the lookout for it, too, so you've been like a little watchdog out there, because it is around.
Yeah, I've been eyeing this beer since we started doing Festivus, because that's when it was released, and I started seeing things on the old Facebook ads for it. Haven't found it until this week. It's Modelo's Noche.
Use your Spanish. Your 5 years of Spanish here.
Hold on. The reason why I'm having a hard time reading it is because the gold font does not pair well with that red background at all. I can make out the Especial, but Noche, so night special.
Yeah, Noche Especial.
Like, it's really hard to read, though, because the gold and the red don't really work together for font.
It's true. It is tough to read. And that's why I also say, like, you know, I think this is meant for being, like, because of the gold, too. It's kind of like a New Year's style thing, too. You can have it for both. That's what it reminds me of.
But I wanted to get it because, one, I like Modelo. It's one of my go-to regular beers. Like, it's up there with, you know, Miller High Life, you know, as a nice, enjoyable fridge beer. And so I was thinking, why not? Let's try it. Sucker for, you know, the one-off gimmicks. Let's see what it's about. Is it a real beer, or is it just a poor man's Modelo Negro, which, to be honest with you, I couldn't even really judge at this point because it's been about 10 years since I've had one of those because they're not that great. And this beer, it's not bad. We don't really get the holiday notes of it. It's just a much maltier Modelo. So you get a little bit, you know, it's breadier, a little bit of caramel. There's no like holiday like spices or anything to it. I wouldn't like it. Someone on Reddit said like, oh, dried fruits. Don't find any of that anywhere. It just basically tastes like a Modelo with slightly bigger bread notes and a lot more adjunct. It's not bad. $12.99 though for a 6-pack of these things. Yeah, it's gonna be for like the diehard Modelo fan. Otherwise, just go with the regular, because I don't think this stands out at all for like what it's supposed to be for like a holiday beer. Like you were looking up and saying like it's supposed to be like a Bach. There's nothing like Bach-y about it at all. Nothing that makes you think like this is different. So
yeah, I would say similar things. You know, I like the Modelo Negra. I think it's a pretty good beer. And I feel like that this is very similar to that Modelo Negra. I don't really get necessarily a different type of taste to it than that other one, which is, you know, somewhat more caramely malt style. Not a huge amount of caramel by any means. This one's kind of marketed to be sort of like that malty, caramely, almost even, you know, like the holiday style like toffee notes, and I don't really get that too much. It tastes pretty similar to regular lager style that Modelo would make, maybe a little bit of a heavier malt body to it. Overall though, it doesn't really do all that much for me. I think it's a pretty good drinkable lager, but in terms of it being a special for the holidays, I'm not really getting that. You know, and again, it would probably be good for me to take a Negra and drink it back to back with a Especial to really get the differences between them. But from my memory, this is really not all that different from what I remember a Negra being like. So I think it's fine. Like you said, I don't know that it's really something that I would probably seek out again for the holidays. It doesn't really scream holidays to me. I think there are better winter and you know, Christmassy type beers out there that you would want to go for instead, because they have more of that holiday spice to them, or, you know, peppermint or something like that really sets them apart from a normal style of lager. So I think this is fine, but it's not really anything that impressive for me. And I'm sorry that you waited all this time to find it and ended up being a little bit disappointed.
You know what? It's okay though, because it happens. No, we were waiting. Let us say 2 years ago, we were waiting for bated breath for that Genesee blackberry.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, cream, and it. You know, sometimes it's listen. I appreciate whether it's successful or not. You know, especially bigger breweries trying something different and new, even though this has probably have been available for a lot longer than I know. But But I appreciate it, though, at least because, like, hey, at least they're trying something and to, explore.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Like,
Yeah,
every time Yingling pumps out a shitty, like, oh, they're Oktoberfest. But it's like, hey, at least you're, kind of trying,
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it, but, but again, I don't know if I would go out of my way to get it again.
Nah.
All right, let's talk Comedy Central's favorite Christmas movie of all time, The Ref.
Let me tell you something about The Ref. I gotta tell you something about The Ref. Like, you want to hear something about The Ref? I'll tell you something about The Ref. Yeah, I'm Denis Leary. I got a bit, and it's one bit, and it's really funny. And it's a bit where I talk really fast and really, a lot of things I say aggressively. Yeah, like Lewis Black. You go, Lewis Black, yeah. And I talk about things that you would find controversial, like smoking cigarettes. Yeah, that's what I do. I smoke cigarettes all the time. I like cocaine. No. This is what I do. Yeah, this is my bit. And I keep writing it until the fucking ground, until I make money. I've got shows out of it. I got specials out of it. I got a movie and my MTV. And this peak Gen X humor.
It's true. It really is.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie. When I was in high school, like junior high, I thought Denis Leary was hilarious. I've always been, I know you haven't, but like, I was always a big Comedy Central watcher back in the day, from like all throughout junior high and high school. I loved watching the Friday night stand-ups. I loved watching like all the different comedians be on there. Sometimes they would have specials. I loved, like, drawing a blank on it, but it was, like, Prime Time with,
Jim
Who's
Clark?
the... No, that's the actual TV show.
Oh,
it was, like, Prime Time Comics. I can't remember, like, what the name exactly was.
Yeah.
But it was, David Allen Greer hosted it, and it would be, like, 3 different comics doing, like, there's, like, a 10-minute bit.
Yeah.
Like, I really loved the stand-up aspect. I really loved all of that. And so I was really, at the time, also really into Denis Leary, too. I thought he was fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. I don't, like, as a 13-year-old in the 7th grade, do I really know what he's talking about with whale eyes and baby seals and John Cassavetes and... No, but I was like, oh, it's fucking funny. He's just ranting about... But watching it now, especially even a couple years ago when we, like, it's actually been probably like 10 years now, when we did Demolition Man and he's basically doing his bit, and I was like, it's just Denis Leary doing his fucking bit. You're gonna either find it funny or not. The mileage is very, I will say, it hasn't, like, it's peak Gen X humor. Like, it's like, I say things that are edgy. Yeah, when you want to know I say things that are edgy. Yeah, autism. Yeah, because fuck you. Yeah, because I can. That's why Freedom America bomb. Yeah, I had the gun. Gun. You can't do anything. Yeah, woo.
It was,
like, it's anti-Jerry Seinfeld. Like, what's the deal? I don't know why I make him sound like more Kramer, but yeah,
Yeah.
It's just high, like, Sam Kinison, Bill Hicks, like, level, like, we're just gonna go boom, full speed. And again, your level of enjoyment is gonna vary on how much you find that fun. And it's the only kind of guy, like, really super angry comic that's still funny like that, where it still works, I think, is like Lewis Black. So, like, the Denis Leary shtick doesn't, like, fill the hole in my soul like he used to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I was never like a big Denis Leary fan or follower or anything like that. I mean, I knew of him. I knew some of his stuff, like the Asshole song, certainly knew of him from roasts and such. In terms of his comedy, yeah, I mean, I think there was a particular time for it in that Bush era type controversial, things that he would say that would be on the edge of getting away with, which now might be tame in comparison as to what basically is said every single day, bandied about as types of humor. I think that there's a truth to what you said there about his exact delivery, because that was pretty much like if you see Denis Leary in a movie, especially at this time period, 90s, 2000s era, Denis Leary was Denis Leary in that movie. Like there's not really much in way of acting for him. It was always like, if you're going to get Denis Leary in this movie, you want him to be Denis Leary in the movie. That's the reason to have him in that role. Otherwise, he probably didn't get cast. He wasn't getting cast for like many serious roles, where Denis Leary just comes in and serious. And
doesn't have the range of someone like Robin Williams.
No. And so the reason I say that is because the ref is pretty much Denis Leary is Denis Leary. He's a burglar Denis Leary, but I don't know if that's true to life or not in his his past, but he could have been in The Princess Bride or like Robin Hood with his goatee. He looks like like such a swash, the goatee and the red mustache going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of like a Carrie Elwes sort of look going on.
Errol Flynn,
Yeah, I can see that. It is funny, too, in the ref when he puts on the suit and tie, how distractingly he looks in that suit and tie. Like, it just does not seem to suit him at all. And that's kind of the joke, too, is like, he comes down, he's supposed to be a doctor character. It's
an Asian doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Wong. I do love
Dr. Wong.
I do love that line when he's like, "You heard Dr. Wong?" And he's like, "Yes, my mother was Irish." And she's like, "And your father?" He's like, "Wasn't."
Something else.
Yeah, it wasn't. So it's a good line. But yeah, Denis Leary in the ref is basically Denis Leary, and I feel like this is to his strong point in the ref. The film really leans into using him for this purpose instead of, trying to put a visceral actor into this character that maybe doesn't fit the role. I think they used him to good, to a benefit to this movie because, again, I actually think Denis Leary is probably one of the best parts of the ref. I feel like the ref as a whole storyline writing, it kind of stagnates quite a bit throughout the movie. Partially because it is set in one location for most of the movie. So we're kind of just like the hostages of the film's protagonists, played by Judy Davis and Kevin Spacey as two husband and wife duo who are home on Christmas Eve fighting and are kidnapped by Denis Leary's character, Gus, the burglar.
Don't you just love to how 90s and stuff it is with they're going to marriage counseling.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like with like Mallrats when they're like, Ben Affleck likes to fuck chicks in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sodomy. Here it's like, I had a dream. Don't tell her about your dreams. And there was a penis sticking out of his ear. Oh, Caroline, you whore! Why would you say such vile things? And it's just like,
yeah, the sort of fake outrage that you get from something like that. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that Denis Leary really is the glue that holds this movie together. Don't get me wrong. I think, Kevin Spacey does a good job. This is a very Kevin Spacey role for Kevin Spacey in this movie as well. Like playing the sort of...
He's basically playing a reverse American Beauty role because in American Beauty, he's the one that goes, Breaking Bad. And here he's the, guy that's got, a bunch of shit up his ass.
Right. Yeah, I think, I think that this is a very Kevin Spacey role for him, is playing sort of the closed off character, very much stuck in his particular lifestyle. I think that, for the most part, though, the ref... Are
you saying particular lifestyle because he's a secret queen in this movie?
Well, he does seem like a very nice, queen character, but...
Because every time he goes on a rant, it sounds like... like he's, I haven't had sex with you in forever, not just because of that haircut you have there, Gozer, but because I want a real man.
That's right. He does.
Girl.
He gets a nice little hair flip going on. I think, I think, like I said, Kevin Spacey does a good job. I think Judy Davis is good too. Don't get me wrong, but I think that what holds the movie together is Denis Leary's character just being, and again, that's kind of the whole idea, is that he's the ref between the two who are constantly bickering and yelling at each other, and he's the ref in the way who gets into more than he bargained for after he kidnaps them and finds out that, like, whoa, these guys are, a little bit too much to handle. They're over the top and pretty annoying. And I think that's what the movie is going for, but at the same time, I do feel that, the movie's like 96 minutes long, but the middle portion really, really stagnates as they are kind of just, the two characters are strung up, hogtied, and we're kind of in this one location forced to listen to this bickering as it goes along. I don't know. Did you feel the same way? Watching it again, sort of being in a more critical eye now than when you were watching it as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a mixed bag film, because the opening is like, okay, we're building to, these people are unhappy. They got issues. We see them in therapy, with their marriage counselor, and shame on the Dr. Wong, because his turtleneck is just that, turtleneck, not a, Judge Reinhold level.
Oh,
sweater.
yeah, no, not the sweater level. From
missing out.
Claus.
Yes, missing
That's
out on, the Christmas there. We have the plot with Denis Leary's breaking into a home and stealing jewelry. Two things. I find it funny that the safe it has the ring, a trap where, there's a ring, and if you pull it by, the whole box, it, alerts the cops, and you get slid down into a trap, and there's a dog down there, and it yells, burglar, burglar, burglar. And it's the world's quickest, response time from the cops. Like, holy shit, rich white people being robbed,
Get out over there.
It's
kind of like that Scary Movie joke where she's like, oh my God, white girl in danger.
Yeah.
Immediate emergency.
And the same thing, too, with, the cat piss spraying on him is... Why? But it's funny. It is, really stupid, because it is an on-running joke throughout the film. They're like, oh, who soiled themselves? Like, oh, who smells like piss? And they're looking at him. So, I mean, it's a fun little joke, but I mean, the film's weird because it's got that setup. Like, okay, he's a burglar on the run, trying not to get, caught by the cops, because in incredibly white Connecticut, if a white person's jewelry is stolen, they're going to be doing a curfew, bring the state troopers in, and have everyone
better than the cops in Black Christmas did for two murders happening in the area.
And they're going to have everyone, cops knocking door to door on Christmas Eve, to find this fucker's he have insurance on that or anything? Jesus, I need your goddamn police force to be running around tracking down my wife's fucking pearl necklace.
You'd think that the insurance, they'd come back and say, don't worry about it. The insurance is higher than the actual value of the necklaces.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just ridiculous. But it sets up that part. Then you have the whole hostage part where, Denis Leary runs into him at the village store. And, I'm just very upset when they were getting ready for the Christmas dinner when they're at the village store. She didn't grab any of that ragu, old world traditional sauce, and Kraft Thousand Island.
She has no use for that. She's making lutefisk and whatever else she's doing. For
you still should grab it, because you know what? Warren Buffett probably paid for this film. That's why there's so much Kraft places. But then they sneak away. It's kind of the whole premise of the hostage situation is stupid, because Denis Leary has no reason to, like, he's he's not a murderer. He's just a thief. He's just, so why, like, and a veteran one too. So it's like, why are you wasting your time capturing people? And when they're like, we'll take you wherever you want, he's like, no, I need to go to your house. I gotta think. I need to think. I gotta smoke. I need smoke. I gotta have a smoke. Yeah, smoke, woo! And then the third act becomes a Tennessee Williams play. When, like, literally it's like watching the Glass Menagerie or something.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's all set up in, like, one room and they're all like, wow, how do you declare?
It is very true.
The restaurant business we had.
It has a very play-like drama that unfolds, especially like considering the fact that most of the movie is just dialogue between the two husband and wife. That, again, it's very play-like and like the bickering back and forth banter that you might expect from something dramatic, overly dramatic, really, a stage performance. I agree with that.
Like, it's not bad. Because again, the plot's simple. It's not really about Denis Leary and like his robbery. Reason why it's called The Ref is because he's like the mediator in between this falling marriage between Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis, as they express their feelings in a way they couldn't at the therapist. And so, like, that is, like, the most engaging part. And it's so simple, too. And it's so, like, it's a very down-to-earth, human, play. Because it's not, like, something sophisticated, like, oh, well, you slept with him, so when I was out doing the business of the TPR, blah, 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 blah. It's like, we opened up a restaurant, it failed, life's been hell. Now we live in we live in your mom's house and we're paying 18% fucking rent on it. And she's a bitch and you won't, do anything. And they're in this hell of a loveless life because of like what's happened to them. It's very just like, I would say pretty smart compared to the films that are written today. Cause it's so simple. It's so like, when have you like ever seen like a film be that like grounded in reality? Like, hey, everyone hates their like the situation. Here's why. You can relate to it.
I think that's part of the problem is that like I like the fact that the movie has this sort of Christmas chaos going on with it because too often there's a lot of Christmas movies that are they kind of go the other way, like everybody's super happy and lovely and they have a really nice Christmas time and it's all about celebrating together and stuff. And this one kind of goes the opposite. It's like, okay, for all the people who have very dysfunctional families, who, maybe their parents didn't just love each other all gushy and, get them nice Christmas gifts every year and stuff. I think this is more of the movie for them. And, the dysfunctional family is in its own subgenre of Christmas movie, of course. And it has proliferated over the years, especially. So I think like the Ref isn't really doing anything like particularly different in the way that it displays a dysfunctional family. However, I think it does do a pretty good job of psychologizing the idea behind these two people and their constant bickering, and at least does a pretty good job of having them literally exposit the exact issues that they have. I think that the one scene that really does work really well is that towards the end of the movie where the family has already gotten there and they're all kind of basically sharing it's like Festivus, right? They're sharing their grievances with each other. Like, I got a lot of problems with you people. Are you're going to hear about them.
Are you saying Larry David and Jerry stole from this film?
I'm not saying they stole it. I'm saying that it ends up playing out a lot like a Festivus idea of grievances.
The airing of grievances.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. And I think that moment in this film works really well. Especially, when Kevin Spacey comes out and he's like, listen, you need to really think about what you're saying when you say, like, I did all this stuff because, like, you didn't make any of those decisions because you were too scared to. And then she kind of goes on her tangent and says, listen, you're a wet noodle, basically. I think like that moment works really well. The film is building and building to that moment throughout because most of the time they talk over each other. Can't hear a word they're saying. But then, at that certain point, they're ready to face the blame and take on the blame from another person. And I think it's really well done when it comes to that point. I think the problem is the lead up to that point is kind of slow. It takes its time. And not only that, I think the film has a little bit of a messy storyline. The writing does not do a very good job of setting up some of these other tangential elements that go into the movie, like the son with the blackmail.
Yeah, no.
Really poorly done.
Yeah. Again, because, like, he's just a little scamp. Like, you're totally right, though, because, does there even need to be a son in this film? No.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be a Macaulay Culkin stand-in.
No.
Who's like, or, a Malcolm in the middle child, like, I blackmail my, military guy, with my, dark room in my fucking military academy, because he's out with, like, a couple of hookers with some nice ditties, and he's like, oh, I'll pay you $500 for that, and I sit drunkenly looking at them while my wife calls, and I'm like, oh, no, honey, I'll be home later. Boobs.
Yeah. I think, I agree. I think that the son is really wasted. There's really, really very little of the actual blackmail element to it. So it kind of comes out of nowhere because there's a couple times where the film switches over to showing, this is J.K. Simmons' first role, by the way. And it just switches over to J.K. Simmons in the office, like kind of just like drinking. And it's like the film's focus is almost never on him. So, like, to have this one random inserted shot of him just sitting there almost feels like it has to be tacked on later.
Wait.
Yes, it's J.K. Simmons. If you're saying, wait, that's J.K. Simmons? Yes, it's J.K. Simmons.
Holy shit. I had no idea.
Yes, it's J.K. Simmons. Yes. It's his first film role. And unfortunately, it had to be in that role, which is like a very... Again, it's abbreviated. The film does not do a good job of setting this up. It really makes no overall point to the plot besides the fact that the kid's like, I'm just gonna run away with you, Denis Leary. We're gonna go on the lam together for some reason. And Denis Leary, even in the movie, is just like, no, you're fucking not. He basically says it just like that. No, you're fucking not. Because it's a stupid idea. He recognizes it's a stupid idea. And it doesn't add anything to the overall proceedings, I don't think.
What's worse, the fact that I didn't realize that was J.K. Simmons, or the fact that the marriage counselor, Dr. Wong, is B.D. Wong, whose whole career is just being a doctor in shows?
That is true. I have seen that before, that guy before, but I didn't really recognize him.
But he was on Law and Order SVU as the...
Oh, yes, that's... Okay, that's where I've known him from. Okay,
yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I would agree. Like, it's a sloppy concept, with a lot of highs and lows. Like, it's definitely all over the place. Like, style, the way it's written. I still do find it enjoyable enough. I think it's a more dysfunctional version of like Christmas Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, let's take Christmas Vacation and turn it up to R. So, like, you can fully see how, like, miserable and dysfunctional these people are. Because again, like, for every look, like, kind of like, okay, this is kind of dragging on a little too weird or whatever. Like, there's some funny parts. Like, I love the part where, like, the family's coming in, from Boston. And before they're getting in for the dinner, they stop at practically a Denny's, and they all get like Salisbury steak, peas, and shit. And they're like, "Why?" And the kids are like, "Why the fuck are we stopping here?" And like, "Well, because your aunt sucks at cooking. We might as well just eat now before we realize what the fuck she's doing." Like, imagine that. Like, if you're driving like hours to your like a relative for a family dinner. You're like, by the way, we got to stop at Denny to get moon over my hammies. Because we don't know what the hell she's going to cook up, and it might not be edible or good. So, kids,
true.
That
is true. I mean, I think that is a pretty funny moment, especially because, again, we haven't talked about Christine Baranski except to say, she's in this Christmas movie and How They Grinch Stole Christmas, but she's also for a side character. She's great in this movie because she does get a particular type of character, and she's it's so funny when she can switch between like, oh, we're coming over just shortly. We'll be right there. Sorry, we got. And then she's like, Chris, get on damn car. Get in the car right now. And then she kind of jumps between that too.
Yeah, no, she's fucking hilarious. And the same thing too is like, why would somebody why would they let somebody out who's like so dangerous or something? The kid's like, Republicans, and she's like snaps her head around like, how dare
you?
Yeah. But she's always great. Like, she's got that like tone, like in the right proper bitchiness. Like, she's always had that. Like, so anytime I ever see her, it's like always like a wonderful treat and a wonderful like, like, oh, nice.
Yeah. I think she does a great job here. But again, I think that a lot of the family is wasted too. Doesn't really come into play all that much. I mean, and again, Glynis Johns as Rose the mom, also great. My wife was pointing out to me, she was like, I know her from somewhere. And then she was like, Mary Poppins. She's the mom in Mary Poppins. And I was like, oh my God, yes, she is. She has a very distinctive voice. She's great.
It's because she's South African. That's why. No, it's I would say that's true because like it's a hard accent pinned down because you're like, it's not quite English, but it's not quite.
And then it's the high pitchedness of her voice too.
It's like when you fucking hear that ding dong Elon talk, you're like, why does he fucking sound like that? And then you're like, I don't understand. And you're like, oh, he's from South Africa. Makes sense.
Yeah. I think that I wish that they were focused on a little bit more because I do think that again, there's a staleness to the middle part of the movie. I think the second act is really slow in the way that it plays out. I think that it felt like forever with it just taking so long for anything real to actually happen. Yeah. And by the time the family gets there, like, okay, all right, some chaos here, some actual stuff that's going to happen. But I feel like the in-between really needed some additional elements to keep it going.
I think if you had them show up earlier, because again, like, we see that they're a perfect family, as, is obviously a sham and shit. If you had them come in earlier and have to deal with that, like Denis Leary and them deal with them, like, because to see, like, their foibles and flaws, it make for a much more interesting film. Because again, by the time they're having dinner, it's an hour and 10 minutes, and you got 20 minutes left. You got Judy Davis on one thing of wine, like, I'm a drunk now, and I'm gonna start saying things. It's like, if you took the 20 minutes that you had of them dithering about with fucking bungee cords, it would tie it a lot better. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that sentiment. It's not, doesn't make for a cohesive plot and flow. It's the second act is a total, snooze fest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
as they wait around for the sun to show up and is he going to be here? Yes, no. Yes, no.
The other thing I found really weird too was the whole Santa Claus bit of the guy that's dressed as Santa Claus just roaming around giving out fruitcake, and the film kind of transitions to showing him a bunch of times. And yeah, I mean, I get, is he part of the plotting? A little bit, like he stumbles in at the end of the movie. But
is that supposed to be Tim Allen? in Santa Claus?
Yeah, right?
Well, which came out later in the year. Like, it came out in November, but it still feels like it's kind of like a fucking shot at Tim Allen. Because he's like, I'm lactose intolerant. And then he gets to the one house and he's like, give me booze. And he's just walking around drunk and he's like, hey, my wife gives you a fruitcake and you don't give a shit. And it's like, yeah, you give him fruitcake. What do you, want? Like, nobody's like, oh.
It's
God
just
bless you
weird...
for that.
Yeah. I don't quite understand the inclusion there either. I don't know.
You're the one that took French. How do you feel about the whole chasseur, joke?
Well, I do think it's funny because, they keep calling him, like, chasser. And they're like, no, it's chasseur. Which, I mean, I guess if that was my name, I would be a little bit...
It's not that. It's not the... No, it's just sort of like, it's not like...
Correcting the pronunciation. It's
not Corky Romano, like, pissant. No, sir. It's Pisson. It's French. No, they're here. They're like, no, it's Chasseur. It's 18th century French Huguenot. Like,
yes. Yes, it's the way that he goes about it. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous and hilarious. Like, oh yes, the Huguenots. Who in American history cannot remember the Huguenots?
What else? And the other thing I wanted to point out that I thought was very interesting but kind of a waste of time is the fact that the film kind of jumps to the police, officers who are working on the case, and it's kind of a big deal that the police chief is not. At first, he doesn't really take this robbery all that seriously because he's kind of like, yeah, well, these white rich people and their robberies. Yeah,
I mean, he's
really
great. Listen, I love him. He's a hero. The fucking rich guys come in like, you need to fucking do this. He's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like, he's like, you guys don't care about us at all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's like, anytime you have a problem, you call your attorney general or whatever. You never come to us. So why don't you go fuck yourself? Like, great. Like that. Like, God bless the lieutenant.
I agree. I totally agree. I just think that there's a weird focus on them for all of 10 minutes of the movie. Of like showing them watching It's a Wonderful Life and actually accidentally taping over the evidence and stuff like that. I mean, is it funny? Like, sort of. And do I like seeing Raymond J. Barry in another role besides the father in Justified? Yes. Man has a goddamn very high hairline. I've never noticed that before because I think because he's like kind of balding as he got older. But man, is that hairline high and tight.
And also, too, I fucked your wife.
Yeah. But, like, again, that stuff goes nowhere, right? Like, it doesn't.
It's like the bomb squad and Jingle All the Way with, like, the cop. Yeah. Like, and it's got to track him down. Like, it's kind of like we need a random side story going on. To stretch the film out.
Yeah, it's strange.
Like the fact in 1984, these fucks are like, hit play. Oh no, I hit the wrong button. Like, you don't know. Play, pause, fast, record. It's not like it's 1980. Like, oh no, I accidentally recorded. Whoopsies. It's like you should know by now. Like, you're in fucking Connecticut. Everyone's got a VCR. Money. I
know.
The other funny thing is, and I mentioned it when I texted you, was Murray, the wheelman. I had no goddamn idea that was the guy, Richard Bright, the actor, who played Al Neary in all three Godfather films.
Oh.
No fucking clue.
Another one of those.
Well, when he was like said one thing and he looked like it was when he was on the boat and he looked, I was like, oh, I definitely. His Godfather 3 came out in 1990. I was like, oh yeah, that's him. I see it now, but like in The Young Man, the 70s, Al Neary is in all three films he's Michael Corleone, Al Pacino's most entrusted enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't really talk that much, but he's like, oh, guys, what's going on? I can't do this. Say hello.
Yeah, he doesn't really get much either.
But it's just funny because it's like, holy shit,
Yep. What else? What else can we talk about? How's the Christmas decorations? What do you think about the holiday cheer at play in the ref?
I think it's good enough.
It's
fine enough. It's fine enough.
So,
I would be more offended if I went to the dinner and they're like, we're having like a Norwegian chutney and I'd be like, well, I didn't sign up for this. Where's my goddamn ham? Okay. Because, our buddy, as I was talking earlier when I mentioned him, Matt and I, when we were, riding around the other day, was like, how would you rank gravies? You got like beef, pork, chicken, ham, like how would you rank them? And we agreed like beef, ham, pork, and chicken. And we both agreed too, while ham gravy's delightful, very limited on the uses. It's like only useful for like Christmas Day where you get that nice, like, ham steak or ham. So I would be very upset about that.
It's true.
Same thing too. I know my family never did it, and I mentioned it before when we talked about like, what do you have for Christmas every year? Some families do a lasagna. God, I would love fucking lasagna right now. Or for Christmas. Delightful. I don't need fucking bark from the trees in Skyrim to know Christmas here.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the Christmas elements are pretty good. It's got a few holiday Christmas songs. It's got, It's a Wonderful Life on the TV. I think it works it in pretty well.
What do you think of the soundtrack? You know who did the soundtrack?
No. Who did the soundtrack?
Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics.
Well, didn't know. Yeah, soundtrack's not bad. Mm-hmm. It's got like a kind of a pulsing electronic beat to it.
That opening song for the credits is
the Enya Christmas song.
Well, that's like taking the Gregorian chant and like Christmas.
That is definitely an odd but very 90s centric choice for that opening.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, very.
I didn't know that, but then I was opening, like listening to the credits, and it says music by David A. Stewart, and I was like, Jesus! I'm like, I didn't know he did that. I'm like, I had no idea, and
yeah, very, very,
like Mark Mothersbaugh just dipping his toe into boop,
It's true. Yeah, that opening theme is definitely something for sure. All right. So, we have to give the ref a rating. I need a scale here. Do you got a scale? I'll come up with one if not.
Out of 0 to 10 friction created boners.
Was it really a boner, or was it really just friction? I think it was just friction. I love that. I love that her eyes like lit up. Like, oh yeah, and then I also love that Kevin Spacey has this like little mischievous like, no, seriously, it really is just the friction. I'm not attracted to you in any way whatsoever. It's just friction. It does that, just like when my jeans rub up against me a little bit too much. It's just
it's the pleats.
Yeah.
Is that good enough, or
that's
do you
good?
Have
that's good. That's
okay.
Good. Friction flavored erection.
I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's a fun enough film. I think it's not the holiday classic that I remember, and I say that with jest. It's a fun enough film. It's an amalgamation of, Home Alone, A Christmas Vacation, a Tennessee Williams play. It's all over the place. The story's too long. It drags a little bit, but Judy, all the cast does a good enough job to make it entertaining. And like I said, when it comes to the third act and the family issues and dealing with like what's going on, it does make for like a very interesting film. I think if it was better written and more, cut down and focused, it'd make it a lot better. But it's a fun enough film, and like, even though I joke about, Denis Leary's comic style, like, he's still good and fun enough. Again, your mileage is totally gonna vary on whether you like that or not. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think there's a middle ground. I don't think anyone's gonna see those, Denis Leary's comedy and either be like, it's okay, you're either gonna be like, I can deal with it, or you're like, it ain't for me. Mm-hmm. It's a fun enough and fine enough film. It's like just like an R-rated, lesser thought out Home Alone. So 6 out of 10. I'd say check it out. It's worth it, taking a chance on.
Yeah, I would agree. I would give it a 6 out of 10 as well. I think, it has its moments. I think that it does have some funny elements to it. It's got a nice dysfunctional family theme going on that's, pretty popular within the Christmas subgenres. I think that it does a pretty good job of incorporating Denis Leary in here as the mediator, and he effectively does that well. And I think that both of our, the main protagonists are actually really well acted too. I mean, Kevin Spacey and Judi Davis give up nice performances here and there, and of course, they kind of have to go after each other. But when they're given free reign to do their little monologues, I think that they both do a great job too. So the cast is really not the problem. I do think it is the writing. Their script probably needed to be tweaked and toned a little bit. I think it needed just a little bit of editing to make it a little bit more focused. And perhaps from the direction standpoint, maybe moving on from certain scenes a little bit quicker, because I do think that it overstays its welcome in the middle portion a little bit too much. Really gets bogged down in some of the dramatics and the fighting. That's, like Martin said, almost like a Tennessee Williams stage performance at times. I think that it's really interesting how this movie ended up getting marketed and released, because I do think it's a little bit more of a serious flick than the poster might let on. And, to be kind of marketed as sort of like zany crime comedy is not exactly what the film actually offers up. For people who are looking for something different for Christmas, I think The Ref is kind of an interesting pick. That's something that, if someone says, we're going to have a Christmas party and we're wondering, what should we watch instead? And somebody pulls out The Ref, you might think like, well, that's an interesting individual. Might have to talk to them more. So I think it's something to check out for people who are kind of sick of the normal Christmas fare. So that's really one of the key points of this movie, is that it's something different for Christmas, and it offers up a little bit of a different approach to it with the sort of a black comedy element to Denis Leary, who also is apparently having a Christmas revival because he just starred in this other movie that they released for Amazon Prime called Oh, What Fun. He's in that too as like the dad in that movie, the older dad figure. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's an okay film. I think, there are points to it that are really good, and then other points that are kind of lows, and it kind of lulls at points, which can really only make it mediocre in my eyes, but worth a watch, I think. So, an interesting way to spend Christmas. All right, so I think that's pretty much going to do it for the Festivus series. We do have the opportunity to potentially do a New Year's episode. I don't know if we will or not. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to within the holiday season. But it's always an option. But if we don't, then we'll definitely be back in 2 weeks for a new episode. And again, it's going to be a crapshoot what that is. I don't really know. We'll have to come up with something.
We'll see.
We'll find out. I don't really know. There's stuff out there that we had wanted to cover, so it could be that. Could be something random that we pick. Who knows? So, but thanks for listening to our Festivus episodes. Hope you enjoyed spending your holiday season with us as we go through these really random Christmas movies that we picked out for this year. Since I'm going to release this episode right before Christmas, instead of our normal Friday drop, if you do want to spend more time with Blood and Black Rum Podcast, I've curated a whole series, all the Festivus episodes, into a Spotify playlist. So you can check that out on Spotify. Just search for it on there. And you can listen to every single Festivus episode that we've done, which dates back probably to like 2018 or something like that. I don't even know. Really far back. Yeah, something like that. Something. It goes back quite a ways, and I think there's probably over 100 maybe not 100, but there's a lot of episodes. There's like 80 episodes of Christmas episodes out there, so check it out. It's done. If you're thinking about normal movies, we've probably done most of them. Elephant and Christmas Story we haven't done, but other than that, you could probably find what you're looking for. So thanks for listening to our Festivus series. Hope you enjoyed. Come back for us when we get back to our regular fare. can find us on any podcast app you listen to. I'm sure we're on it. Subscribe, leave us a nice review. We're on Facebook and Blue Sky. Search for us on there, Blood and Black Rum Podcast. Martin has promised in his spare time to start posting more on those social media pages, so we'll hold him to it. You can email us at bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com. Write to us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what movies you want us to watch. We'll take that into consideration. And you can also donate to us on our Patreon page. Anything you donate goes back towards beer. So we appreciate that in advance. All right. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And until next time.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Festivus and light your John Saxon Yule logs.
That's right.